Hey everyone, Carl's here from A Difficult Truth, and welcome to our weekly podcast where we talk about the most recent topics that happened during the week. So let's get this show started. We are now in week 4 of the government shutdown, and I honestly can't believe I'm still talking about this, but here we are. Donald Trump recently attempted to negotiate with the Democrats by saying that he'll provide protection for DACA recipients for 3 years. How convenient. But that he is insistent on this wall. Now, Democrats have already said that this is a non-starter. So his whole televised, announcement was just another propaganda BS, BS ranting about how he wants his ego monument. Meanwhile, 800,000 people are still not getting paid. And the real question about this whole thing is, okay, we know Trump is responsible. He said it himself, and I would love to play the clip over and over and over and over and over, saying that he's the one that's going to take the mantle. But there's another name that seems to be eluding the mainstream media, seems to be eluding the headlines. And that name is Mitch McConnell. That man is number 2 responsible right now for the government shutdown, because he could actually put a bill to a vote and have the Senate vote on it. Most likely they're going to pass it because they've already done this in the House. And President Trump might veto it, but they can do this thing called a veto override. And I'm sure Mitch McConnell knows about this, right? And also, just as a little, tidbit, Mitch McConnell's running for a re-election in 2020. So keep that in mind. Remember, 800,000 people are without a paycheck, and this doesn't include all the other aspects that this affects, like government contractors and stuff like that. So keep that in mind when he's up for re-election, that he is number 2 responsible for why these 800,000 people do not have a paycheck. And these people can't just do, an emergency rainy day fund. Most Americans don't even have enough money for a $400 emergency, let alone missing a paycheck. Even federal government workers. Some of them are now forcing to be, moonlighting as other occupations and hoping to just scrape by while the government figures it out. And this is totally inhumane, it's cruel, and it honestly should be illegal. But yeah, keep that name in mind. Remember, Mitch McConnell is number 2 responsible for the government shutdown. Where's Mitch? I don't see him. He needs to be held accountable. Okay, so for our next topic, a federal judge struck down the rule letting corporations, nonprofit organizations, and employers basically deny birth control pills to women. It was Judge Beetlestone who struck it down. She was the second judge to strike this down. Originally, they struck it down for 13 states, but she struck it down for the rest of the country while they get the legal stuff settled. And I think that this is ridiculous that in 2019, we're still trying to control women's bodies. I mean, we still have this whole talk about abortion, which it should really be a non-issue. It should just be legal and let the woman choose. But, we're still trying to control women. And I don't know if these Republicans know, but birth control is not just a contraceptive. It's used for other medical purposes too. So you're denying women medical attention. You're denying women medical services because you have a religious belief or a moral belief. This was originally in the Affordable Care Act, where companies and employers, even in nonprofit, had to provide birth control pills with no copay. And now this Trump administration is trying to basically make women pay for it. I mean, I think that that's absolutely ridiculous, and it's completely not fair. Which brings me to my next topic. Yes, we've all seen it, the Gillette ad.
Bullying.
The Me Too movement against sexual
Toxic
harassment.
masculinity.
Is this the best a man can get?
Is it? We can't hide from it.
Sexual harassment is taking over.
It's been going on far too long. We can't laugh it off.
Who's the daddy? What I actually think she's trying to say.
Making the same old excuses.
Boys will be boys.
Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys.
But something finally changed.
Allegations regarding sexual assault and sexual harassment.
But she says
And there will be no going back. Because we believe in the best in men.
Men need to hold other men accountable.
Smile, sweetie.
Come on.
To say the right thing. To act the right way.
Bro, not cool. Not cool.
Some already are. In ways big
Yo, men,
and small.
I am strong.
But some is not enough.
it's not how we treat each other, okay?
Because the boys watching today will be the men of tomorrow.
This ad is, I don't know, somehow it's like this huge controversy, but it really shouldn't. Gillette is just trying to point out a very big problem, which is toxic masculinity. Yes, it is a problem and it is rampant. Ever since day one, this just doesn't go for boys, it goes for girls too. Since day one, society teaches us that what an idea of a man and an idea of a woman has to be this way. Boys play with Tonka trucks, girls play with Barbie dolls, boys wear blue, girls wear pink, yada, yada, yada. And this has kind of conditioned us that we're supposed to be a certain way. Men are supposed to, hide their feelings, or their only acceptable emotion is anger. Fighting is good, sports are good, and that's not necessarily the case. This has created this toxic environment, and unfortunately women have been the receiving end of this. Now, I'm not saying that there hasn't been small instances where there is toxic femininity, like the bad side of the Me Too movement, which falsely accuses men, but that's such a tiny percentage, it's barely a blip on the radar. Or how there's like the ugly side of feminism, where there's this very, 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 very tiny percent of women who are just misandrist. They just want to hate all men, kill all men are bad. I mean, it's such a small percent compared to how many men are super toxic. You got these alpha bros who have to exhibit dominance and who are, the players of the group. And honestly, Gillette is a perfect company to come out and speak up about this, because they acknowledge that they had a role in how society sees men. And unfortunately, it hasn't been very good. And now they realize this and they're trying to change that, or at least bring awareness to it, which I applaud. I mean, to all of you to all of you men who are triggered by this, number one, it's hilarious that you alpha boys are triggered by a Gillette ad. I find that hilarious. And number two, if you're really bothered by this, that says a lot more about you than Gillette. Because what's wrong with expressing emotions? What's wrong with teaching boys that violence isn't good or violence isn't the answer? What's wrong with standing up to other men who harass women? I mean, do you want that? Are you okay with that? Because that's what it tells me. When all these guys are bashing on Gillette, that's what it tells me. I mean, what else could it be? I'm not offended by it. And trust me, I've had to be that guy. literally my first time at a club, I was with 5 girls. They're all friends, and some of them are even friends till this day. And the first thing that happens when I walk into the club is these 2 guys coming up to me asking for my permission if I could, if they could buy my ladies a drink, as if I'm some kind of as if I own them, or as if I'm some kind of pimp and they needed to ask me before just kind of at least trying to engage in conversation with them directly. No, it just made me feel disgusted. It made me feel weird, to be honest, and I had to tell them to screw off. I mean, what kind of way is that to talk, like saying that basically, oh, I'm the guy in the group, so I must, I'm the owner of these women apparently. And ever since that day, I've never gone to a club. Never. I think that is just disgusting, and till this day, I still tell this story. So the last topic for today, I'm just going to run through this one very quickly. BuzzFeed actually published an article stating that Michael Cohen lied to Congress at the direction of Donald Trump. Now, Mueller has come out and said that these some of the details aren't accurate or aren't true, but BuzzFeed still stands by its reporting, and it's renewed talks of impeachment. In my personal opinion, this is no time to be talking about impeachment. Let Robert Mueller finish his job. Let him present the full facts, and let's see what exactly went down. I mean, maybe there's something even worse than the emoluments clause violation, which is very clear. Maybe something worse than obstruction of justice. I mean, let's be honest. Trump is a criminal. He's a pathological liar, and I mean, his base just eats this up. But even when he does it out in the open, I mean, he lets people stay in his hotel that give him money directly, give his business money directly. He hasn't separated himself from the business till this day. So if that is in violation of the emoluments clause, I don't know what is. Both domestic and foreign. You have these CEOs staying at the Trump hotel. You have delegations from other countries staying at the Trump hotel, all directly giving money to him and his business. I mean, there's nothing else to say about that. It's very clear. But what if there's something more? So in lieu of that, I think that we should wait, let Robert Mueller do his job. And I mean, it's clear that Michael Cohen is just a liar and a scumbag, but we don't know for sure if it was at the direction of Donald Trump. Maybe Donald Trump knew about it, and I mean, there's just no way that Donald Trump didn't know about it. So I'm gonna retract that. There's no way that he didn't know about it, but at his direct, orders, I don't know. I guess we're just gonna have to wait and find out. Michael Cohen is expected to testify in front of Congress early February, so I'm definitely interested in hearing that, and I'll definitely be watching. Maybe I'll even do a live stream of it, because this is very serious. And for those of you who are downplaying this, I mean, you have to be willfully blind or just not care. I mean, most of his base is, but anyways. Well, guys, unfortunately, that's all the time I have today. If you enjoyed watching this video and enjoyed the episode, why don't you hit that big red subscribe button and ring the little bell so that you can catch us next week. We do the podcast every Sunday. We also have the podcast on SoundCloud, so you can listen to it on the go. That's soundcloud.com/adifficulttruth. You can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/adifficultruthofficial. And you can follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/adifficulttruth. I'll leave all the links in the description below, and I'll see you guys next week. See ya!